Back. So, see if you can join in on this one. Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. That's your chorus. Anyone feel like singing this morning? Thanks, all three of you. That'd be great. So, let's hear your three voices soaring through the trees this morning. Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. So we'll journey along on the wings of a song, and a heart that is open and free. If we close our eyes to the other side, we're just half of what we could be. Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew.
Take the hand of the man from the far distant land, meet him and treat him well. And the young girl over there with the wind in her hair, she's got a story to tell.
Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you.
Let your heart have no fear,
there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. So there's songs to be sung, there are rafters to be rung, there are reasons to rise and above, and there's tales to be told, both new and old, that you carry away when you go. Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew.
so we'll pass the bottle round, and we'll drink another round, that our friendship will ever remain. For who can tell when we say our farewells, when will we all meet again?
Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, there are no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. So if there's anybody beside you you haven't met before, five of you that noticed. You know the old law when you're singing, if you forget words, don't stop, just say whatever comes in your head at the time. And Scooter so economically says you can get the correct version on a CD if you want. This is such a lovely setting in here that I feel like singing this song. It's about a man who really didn't become well known and famous until he left Scotland and came to this country. I'm still living on that idea too, but it's not working yet. His name was John Muir, and he came from a small town just east of Edinburgh called Dunbar. And my uncle had a butcher shop in Dunbar. He'd never heard of John Muir, and I'd never heard of him till I came here. But he is the father of the whole environmental movement in this country, the beginner of the Sierra Club, and the man who created and helped create the whole national park system. So we owe him a huge debt. He came from a father who was of a very strange and extreme Presbyterian sect, and he brought up his children with a Bible in one hand and a belt in the other. There was no time for laughter or fun. So one day he said, "I'm sorry, don't have to do your homework today. We're emigrating to Wisconsin." and off they went and lived in the prairie for a while. Muir always loved the outdoors. That was his escape from his family. He was also an inventor, and he could build a machine, or he could take a machine apart and put it together again. And eventually, when he left Wisconsin, he walked all the way down through this country after the Civil War, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, collecting flowers and taking notes. He was going to go to South America because he was one of the first people that realized it was glaciers that cut mountains. But he got on the wrong ship. He finished up in San Francisco, luckily for us. Didn't like the city and walked inland until he found a place that was his spiritual home from then on, a place called Yosemite. I asked the master builder, how did he make John Muir from the seed of a man so hard and unforgiving? A father who strove to use the gospel to ensure that his son's life would never be worth living. And the Lord's voice came down from the high Sierra peaks, from the mountains where the clear waters flow, to in place the bravest heart above the greatest of sin. And I'll show you how to watch a hero grow. Leave Calvin and the Bible to the parish ode and bar, and give a blind man back his eyes to see the brightest of the stars, and lead him to the altar of a better God by far, in the vale of the Redwood Cathedral. And I asked the master builder, how did he find a way to put the man in the mountains and the mountains in the man? How long did he search to find the uncommon clay that he needed for his man? Sorry about that. His plan. The Lord's voice came down from the high Sierra winds, saying, take a heart of hard Scottish stone, and sow the seed of a wild place deep down inside, and I'll show you how to call a hero home. Leave Calvin and the Bible to the parish ode and bar, and give a blind man back his eyes to see the brightest of the stars, and lead him to the altar of a better God by far, in the vale of the Redwood Cathedral. And as I stand by the waters of these roaring mountain falls, and I hear California call you Savior, I cannot help but wonder, would he have done the same for Scotland the brave, your home and your fathers? For God lives above the redwoods, so men say, looking down straight and true on the best of all his treasures. And if a man should walk among them and pray, well, it's against them the Lord will take his measure. And who grew straighter than long Johnny Muir, a redwood of flesh, blood and bone, made by the master builder with a passion so pure, for the mountains no single man can own. Leave Calvin and the Bible to the parish ode and bar, and give a blind man back his eyes to see the brightest of the stars, and lead him to the altar of a better God by far, in the vale of the Redwood Cathedral. For God lives above the redwoods and the hickories and the oaks, so men say. world did not come from the Highlands and had nothing to do with clan system or anything like that. They came from the south of Scotland, which is where my family came from an area called the Borders. And if you've ever heard names like Elliot or Armstrong or Johnston or Graham or Kerr, Scott, Nixon, these are all border names, and I'm sure they're quite common names in this part of the world. There's a wonderful book about the border reivers, the families that used to raid back and forward across the border, or sometimes raid from each other. And they were Scots, or they were Elliots, or they were Armstrongs before they were ever Scottish or English. They went with whichever side the bread was buttered on. So. There's a book about the border reivers that begins with an introduction saying, can you picture back then when Richard Nixon, Billy Graham and Lyndon Johnston were waiting to welcome Neil Armstrong back from the moon? And the writer says that could be the second row of a rugby team from the Borders any day. So try this chorus. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the bonny Tweed flow, a sweeter place I never will know than the rolling hills on the border. This song was actually written by a Glasgow man who wrote thousands of songs about Glasgow and one about the Borders. I love the tune, I love the chorus, but I rewrote all the verses. Can't let a Glasgow man get any of the power there. Oh, I've travelled far and wandered wide, seen the Hudson and the Clyde. I've courted by Loch Lomond's side, but I dearly love the Borders. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the bonny Tweed flow, a sweeter place I never will know than the rolling hills on the border. To Ettrickdale or Yarrow side, where the ghosts of the reivers they still ride, with the ballad heroes I will bide, deep in the hills of the border. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the bonny Tweed flow, a sweeter place I never will know than the rolling hills on the border. And to Eelton slopes or Whinny Knows, where the bray and the clucks they come down like hell. To Bray or Cluck or even the House, deep in the heart of the Borders. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the bonny Tweed flow, a sweeter place I never will know than the rolling hills on the border. So promise me that when I die, you'll spread my dust where the colours cry, on Lammermuir or Moorfoot High, deep in the hills of the Borders. When I die, bury me low, where I can hear the bonny Tweed flow, a sweeter place I never will know than the rolling hills of the Borders. When I die, bury me low in the rolling hills of the Borders. You've earned yourself some fun. In the pub you start to sup, you're clinking, clinking everyone. And the pint's what you're perusing, and you're boozing till you're snoozing. You're losing all your senses to the drink. But when all these folks are prim are swigging swill up to the brim, nips of gin and numbered pims and sugar rubbed around the rim, let them drink until they drop, for the sly besotted Scot, he'll be breaking it a bottle of the best. And to hell with all the rest, give me a bottle of the best. The amber bead, I'll down with speed, it's not bad taste or waste, just greed. I ain't a whiskey still I'll kill, I'll drink my fill, and if you spill a gill, you know I will, I'll lick it off the floor. I'll not touch teachers' grants or hay, give me Bumore or Laphroaig, Glenfarclas in a glass, you can throw the top away, for there's no use to pretend that you'll need the top again when you've broken it a bottle of the best. Now the English like their ale, warm and flat straight out the pail. They ice litter with their bitter, it would slaughter Jack the Ripper. And they sip their cider rough, they huff and puff and sniff and snuff. And as if that's not enough, they start to sing. Oh, when Johnny's I was new, and your body cords find maroon, fan of the bone, the body man, bring us a barrel just a few. But their songs are fast are past by the tinkle in the glass, when you've broken it a bottle of the best. And the Irish with their pride o' earn think they can deride our golden water with our patter, when they're out on the batter, 1,600 pints of stout, a drinking bout without a doubt. And if they've no got the gout, they start to dance. Father O'Flynn and Larry O'Gaff, Biddy the ball wife for a laugh. The fine me moon, the Gary and the blackbird drives them daft. But their jigs have no appeal to the Scot who likes to reel when he's broken it a bottle of the best. Aye, a bottle of the best, that's what it is. No idle jest, no Mickey Finn, no rock gin, no bathtub wine that tastes like vim. Have no fear, it's not like beer, malt whiskey strong and bright and clear. It's all so bloody dear, but what the hell? And it belts you in the belly like a heavyweight lochgelly. A glow begins to grow, 6 in a row turns ye to jelly. Then ye dream perchance to sleep, then ye fall down in a heap, for ye've broken out a bottle of the best. And something harder to define, like secrets in the shape of copper stills, or the slow silent magic work of time. Whiskey, you're the devil in disguise, at least to some, that's the way it seems. But you're more like an angel in my eyes, catch the heady vapors as they rise, turn them into dreams, and bring back sherry casks from Spain. San Lucar de Barrameda, fill them up again with the spirit of this land. Then let the woodwork to that spirit's gain, in a process no one fully understands. Whiskey, you're the devil in disguise, at least to some, that's the way it seems. But you're more like an angel in my eyes, catch the heady vapors as they rise, turn them into dreams. For the spirit starts out clear, but watch the transformation after many patient years, when at last the tale unfolds, all the colors of the seasons will appear, from palest yellow to the deepest gold. Whiskey, you're the devil in disguise, at least to some, that's the way it seems. But you're more like an angel in my eyes, catch the heady vapors as they rise, turn them into dreams. So when you hold it in your hand, it's the pulse of one small nation, so much more than just a dram. You can see, if you will, the people and the weather and the land. All the past into the present is distilled. Whiskey, you're the devil in disguise, at least to some, that's the way it seems. But you're more like an angel in my eyes. Catch the heady vapors as they rise and turn them into peaceful, pleasant dreams. That's to me the ultimate Scottish lullaby. Let's see what song lasts about 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Right. Well, here's someone that's going to heaven. Your very good health, Sleshava. Thank you. Moment silence here. Oh, we're feeling better now. About 3 weeks ago, was it Father's Day? Can't remember when, but I was doing a gig that day. And someone said, "You know any songs about fathers?" I thought, God, there's only one I can think of, that Andy M. Stewart wrote years ago. And the problem with it is that I disagree completely with the basic premise of the song. According to this song, if a young man has problems dealing with the opposite sex, he needs to go and ask his father all about it, and he will tell him exactly how to do it and what to do. I have to just say that for Scottish fathers, that is just not anything near the truth. And I had no sisters and went to a boys' school for 13 years, which made me socially retarded till I was about 38. Had to pick up everything firsthand, so to speak. So this song has some very wise advice. Your chorus being, take her in your arms and tell her that you love her. Take her in your arms, hold that woman tight. Won't you take her in your arms and tell her that you love her? If you're going to love a woman, then be sure and do it right. Oh, have you seen him on the corner? His face would reach the pavement. He's been hiding from his razor. Is he not an awful sight? For in love he was a purist. Now he's frightening off the tourists. If he'd gone and asked his father, you know he'd learn him right. Say and take her in your arms and tell her that you love her. Take her in your arms, hold that woman tight. Won't you take her in your arms and tell her that you love her? If you're going to love a woman, then be sure and do it right. For here's a pub with fun and laughter. The landlord's buying bevy. There's a session in the corner, and the crack is good tonight. Ah, but your man who lost his true love, he's sitting in the corner. If he just asked his father, you know he taught him right. Say and take her in your arms and leave her. Take her in your arms tight. Take her in your arms and tell her that you love her. If you're going to love a woman, be sure and do it right. Here's a serious verse. Now depression's not a million laughs. Suicide's too dangerous. Don't go leaping out of windows in the middle of the night. For it's not the fall but the landing that'll alter your social standing. So go first and ask your father. You know he'll teach you right. Say and take her in your arms and tell her that you love her. Take her in your arms, hold tight, won't you take her in your arms and tell her that you love her? If you're going to love a woman, be sure and do it right. So here's a health to all true lovers, their sisters and their brothers, their uncles and their grands, for this thing is black and white. For if you're keen to start romancing with its lippin' and its dancing, then go first and ask your father, you know he'll teach you right. Say you take her in your arms and tell her that you love her. Take her in your arms, hold that woman tight. Won't you take her in your arms and tell her that you love her? If you're going to love a woman, then for God's sake do it right. And on that note of wise wisdom, we'll leave you. We'll see you back here later this afternoon. I will also be singing with the brass and pipe band on the far side sometime after 12 o'clock.